Hello, welcome to week 3. This week we're going to be looking at chapter 5 and 6 of our book, which is verbs and subject-verb agreements. All right. Verbs. The learning objectives of this chapter 5 is identify transitive, intertransitive, linking and helping verbs. Recognize the functions and the uses of action voice and passive voice verbs. Use verbs correctly in the present, past, and future tenses. Recognize and use participles, grunts, and invenitives correctly. Identify and remedify dangling verb phrases and other misplaced modifiers. Understand and apply subjective mood correctly. Write the correct forms of the irregular verbs. Recognize verb forms in the progressive and perfect tenses. Verbs. Expression of action, an occurrence or state of being. Alexa interviews all qualified job applicants. The verb interviews denotes an action. Our spring break begins this Friday. The verb begins denotes an occurrence. Jared is the new product manager. The verb is denotes a state of being. Types, transitive and intertransitive, linking and helping. Transitive and intertransitive verbs. Transitive verb, expressions, an action directed toward a person or thing, requires a direct object, a noun or pronoun. To complete its meaning in the following sentence, the subject is underlined. The transitive verb is italicized and the object is set in boldface. Candidates submitted their resumes. The subject in the sentence is candidates. The transitive verb is submitted. The object is resumes. Intertransitive verb does not require an object to complete its action. In the following sentence, the subject is underlined and the intransitive verb is italicized. Megan worked in our department last summer. The subject in the sentence is Megan. The intransitive verb is worked. Linking verbs. Join the subject to the complement. Complement, a noun, pronoun, or adjective that renames or describes the subject. In the following sentence, the linking verb is underlined and the complement is italicized. Mohammed is a new researcher. The linking verb in the sentence is. The complement is researcher. Some linking verbs are derived from the verb to be. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. Our verbs that often serve as linking verbs are feels, appears, tastes, seems, sounds, looks, and smells. In the following example, the linking verb is underlined and the adjective, which is an adjective complement following the linking verb, is italicized. Madison feels bad that her smartphone rang in the meeting. The linking verb in this sentence is feels. The adjective complement is bad. Helping verbs. Added to the main verb to form verb phrases. Common helping verbs are of, to be, to have, to do. Other helping verbs express necessity or possibility. Examples: can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to. In the following sentence, the helping verb is underlined and the main verb is italicized. Arabella is organizing the technology workshop. The helping verb in the sentence is. The main verb is organizing. Verb voices, active voice. When the verb expresses an action directed by the subject for the object of the verb. Writing that also uses verbs in the active voice is vigorous and effective. also called the voice of business. In the following sentence, the doer of the action is italicized. The verb expressing the action is underlined, and the object is set in boldface. Angela identified the problem. The doer of the action is Angela. The verb expressing the action is identified. The object is problem. Verb voices. When the action of a transitive verb is directed toward the subject, the verb is in the passive voice. May be used to place less emphasis on the doer agent of action. May also be used when indirectiveness is desired, also called voice of tact. Active voice and passive voice. Active voice would be technicians scan our network for viruses. Passive voice would be our network is scanned for viruses by technicians. Active voice is the accountant made 3 errors in the report. Passive voice says 3 errors were made in the report. Primary tenses. English verb change form to indicate the number, person, voice, and tense. Primary tenses are used to indicate the present, the past, and the future. Present tense verbs express current and habitual actions. May also be used in construction showing future action. In the following sentence, the present tense verb is underlined. We celebrate employees' birthdays once a month. The present tense verb in the sentence is celebrate. Past tense verbs show completed actions, generally formed by adding the D or ED to the present tense of regular verbs. In the following sentence, the past tense verb is underlined. The report focused on changes in our department. The past tense verb in the sentence is focused. Future tense verbs shows actions that are expected to occur at a later time, formed by adding will or shall to the present tense of principal verbs in the following sentence. The verb tense verb is underlined. Researchers will study the effects of cell phone use on brain cells. The future tense verb in the sentence is will study. Challenges using primary tenses. Personal subject pronouns indicate the person speaking, first person I and me. The person spoke to, second person you. The person or object spoken of, third person he, she, it, they. Whenever the subject is a singular noun or a singular third person pronoun, add a s or es to the present tense form of the verb. Example, she works for a large corporation. Since the word she is singular third person pronoun, the letter s is added to the verb work. Example, I like my new job. Since the subject I is a singular first person pronoun, the verb like can remain as is. Spelling verb for which the final consonant is double when the verb is the past tense. If the verb has one syllable, use a CVC rule. Consonant, vowel, consonant. When the last 3 vowels of the verb follow this pattern, double the final consonant. Stop becomes stopped. Trap becomes trapped. If the verb has more than one syllable, determine which syllable is stressed or emphasized. If the first syllable is stressed, do not double the final consonant. Cancel becomes canceled. If any other syllable is stressed, double the consonant. Emit becomes emitted. Expressing timeless facts. Present tense verbs are used to express timeless facts, even if the verbs occur in sentences with other past tense verbs. In the following sentences, the past tense verbs are underlined. Emily Gross' maiden name is Adams. The present tense verb in this sentence is. What did you say his duties are? The present tense verb in this sentence is are. Spelling verb that change form. Spelling verbs end with the letter Y. I try to do my best every day. The subject I is a singular first person pronoun. The verb stays the same. She tries to do her best every day. The subject she is singular third person pronoun. The Y changes to IES in the verb try. They tried to do their best in the project. The verb try becomes tried in the past tense. Spelling verbs end with C. Add the letter K before ending with the ED or ING. People in Hawaii panicked when they received the missile alert. Add the letter K to the verb panic. Past participle, usually formed by adding a D or T sound to the present tense of a verb. Past participle verb phrases include the helping verbs has, had, or have, and sometimes could, would, and should. In the following example, the past participle is underlined and the helping verb is italicized. Mark has researched the company thoroughly and feels ready for his interview. The past participle in the sentence is researched. The helping verb is has. Avoid using awkward participle phrases. Awkward. Ava's having been promoted to office manager was cause for celebration. Better. Ava's promotion to office manager was cause for celebration. Verbals. Words that function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. These three verbals are important: grunts, infinitives, and participles. Grunts. A verb that form that ends in ing and is used as a noun, often describes adjectives. The grunts are underlined in the following sentences. Marketing. Our products through social media is necessary. The grunt in this sentence is marketing. Travis insisted on revealing the code. The grunt in this sentence is revealing. When using grunts, make sure that the nouns and pronouns modifying the grunts are possessive. In the following example, the grunt is underlined and the possessive pronoun is italicized. Amelia resented his calling during lunch. The grunt in this sentence is calling. The possessive pronoun is his. Infinitives, caused by a word to preceding the present form of a verb. When using infinitives, do not substitute the conjunction and or to. In the following examples, infinitives are underlined. Try to call when you arrive. The infinitive in the sentence is call. Be sure to speak softly when you use your smartphone in public. The infinitive in the sentence is speak. When any word appears to and the verb, an infinitive is said to be split. When infinitives avoid split infinitives, this result is awkward sentences. Awkward. Noble wants to, if he can take the time, take the online class. Better. If he can find the time, comma, Noah wants to take the online class. See how this one makes better sense and sounds less awkward. Avoid misplaced and dangling verbal modifiers. Misplaced verbal modifier. Verbal phrase that is not placed logically. Verbal phrases must be placed in logical relation to the words they modify. Illogical. And missing purchase orders were found by his assistant lying on the top desk drawer. Logical. His assistant found the missing purchase orders lying in the top desk drawer. Dangling modifiers. Confusing phrases placed incorrectly in a sentence. They are resolved by adding needed words. Illogical. Slipping on the stairs. His ankle was injured. Logical. Slipping on the stairs, comma, he injured his ankle. 3 verb moods enable a reader to express attitude toward a subject. Indicative mood expresses facts. We need the contract. Imperative mood expresses commands. Send the contract immediately. Subjective mood expresses doubts, conjectures, suggestions. If the contract were here, we would begin. Subjective mood, if and wish causes. When a statement that is doubtful or contrary to fact is introduced by if, as, if, or wish, the subjective form were substitutes for the indicative form was. Miranda acts as if she were the boss. If the statement could possibly be true, use the indicative form. If Jose was in the audience, I missed him. What clauses? When a that clause follows a verb expressing a command, recommendation, request, suggestion, or a requirement, use the subjunctive form of the verb to be. In the following example, the subjective form of the verb to be is used. Our manager recommends that all reports be proofread twice. Motions. When a meeting motion is stated, a subjunctive verb form should be used in that clause that follows the motion. The subjunctive verb used in the following sentence has been underlined. Manuel moved that vote to be taken. The subjunctive verb form in this sentence is be. Regular verbs form the past tense by the addition of d or ed to the present tense forms. Irregular verbs form the past tense by varying the root vowel and most commonly adding in to the past participle. Learn the list of irregular verbs using the pattern shown on the next slide. Pattern for learning irregular verbs. We have the different tenses. Present tense, today I drive. Verb or the verb phrase denoting the tense is drive. Past tense, yesterday I drove. Future tense, tomorrow I will drive. Present participle, in the past I have driven. Past participle, next week I'm driving. Frequently used irregular verbs, present, past participle, and present participle. Arise, arose, arisen, arising. Be, was, were, been, being. Become, became, become, and becoming. Begin, began, begun, beginning. Bite, bit, bitten, biting. Blow, blew, blown, blowing. Break, broke, broken, breaking. Bring, brought, bringing. The complete list of frequently used irregular verbs is available on MindTap. Frequently misused irregular verbs, lie and lay. The past tense of lie is spelled the same way that present day lay is spelled. Intransitive, present, lie, to rest. Past, lay, past participle, laying, and present participle, lying. Transitive, lay, to place, past, laid, past participle, laid, and present participle, laying. Frequently misused regular verbs, lie and lay continues. The verb lie is intransitive. Therefore, it requires no direct object to complete the meaning. The verb lie in its vicious tenses is underlined in each of the following sentences. I lie down for a nap every afternoon. The verb in this sentence in the present tense is lie. Yesterday, I lay down for a nap. The verb in the sentence in its past tense is lay. Tomorrow, I will lie down for a nap after lunch. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will lie. Those reports have lain in the desk for some time. The past participle in the sentence is have lain. The contract is lying on the desk. The past participle in the sentence is lying. The verb lay is transitive and must have a direct object to complete its meaning. The verb lay in the vicious sentences is underlined in each of the following sentences. Did you lay your smartphone on the conference table? The verb in the sentence in its present tense is lay. He laid the handouts on the conference table. The verb in the sentence in the present tense is laid. He will lay a new tile in the reception area. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will lay. He has laid bricks all his life. The past participle in the sentence is has laid. The contractor is laying a new floor in the kitchen. The present participle in this sentence is laying. Frequently misused irregular verbs sit and set. The intransitive verb sit means to rest and requires no direct object. The verb sit in the various tenses is underlined in each of the following sentences. I sit in the front row in class. The verb in the sentence is present tense is sit. They sat at the theater through the closing credits. The verb in the sentence in the past tense is sat. Chris and Mike will sit in the back row for the presentation. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will sit. They had sat in the waiting room for 2 hours before the doctor was able to see them. The past participle in the sentence is had sat. Brad was sitting in the conference room when we arrived. The present participle in the sentence was sitting. The intransitive verb set means to place and must have a direct object. The verb set in the various tenses is underlined in each of the following sentences. Letty usually sets her coffee mug there. The verb in the sentence in the present tense is sets. The mover set the printer on the desk yesterday. The verb in the sentence in the past tense is set. Our CEO's actions will set the tone for the meeting. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will set. CEO Harding had set the deadline before conferring with his employees. The past participle in the sentence is had set. Our professor is setting a strict deadline for submitting our final projects. The present participle in the sentence is setting. Frequently misused irregular verbs, rise and raise. The intransitive verb rise means to go up or to ascend and requires no direct object. The verb rise in the various tenses is underlined in each of the following sentences. The sun rises every morning in the east. The verb in the sentence is in the present tense is rises. The president rose from her chair to greet us. The verb in the sentence in the past tense is rose. Consumer prices will rise next quarter. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will rise. The room temperature has risen steadily since the meeting began. The past participle in the sentence is has risen. Stock prices are rising due to the positive economic forecast. The present participle in the sentence is rising. The intransitive verb raise means to lift up or elevate and must have a direct object. The verb raise in the various tenses is underlined in each of the following sentences. Please raise the window. The verb in the sentence in the present tense is raise. The nonprofit raised needed funds during an annual event. The verb in the sentence in the past tense is raised. That restaurant will raise prices next month. The verb phrase in the sentence in the future tense is will raise. Airlines have raised fares over the past year. The past participle in the sentence is have raised. Our college is raising funds for scholarships. The present participle in the sentence is raising. Progressive tenses are used to show continuous or repeated actions. Present progressive tense expresses ongoing actions that are happening presently. The verb phrase used in this present progressive tense is underlined in the following sentence. We are importing many of our products from China. The verb phrase in this sentence is are importing. Past progressive tenses express ongoing actions that occurred in the past, usually as another action was taking place. The verb phrase used in the past progressive tense is underlined in the following sentence. We were sitting down to dinner when we lost power. The verb phrase in the sentence is we're sitting. Future progressive tense expresses ongoing actions that will take place in the future. The verb phrase used in this future progressive tense is underlined in the following sentence. They will be receiving announcements shortly. The verb phrase in the sentence will be receiving. They are used to show actions that are already completed. Present perfect tenses expresses actions that begin in the past and have continued to the present. The verb phrase used in the present perfect sense is underlined in the following sentence. The national debt has increased substantially. The verb phrase in the sentence has increased. Past perfect tenses expresses actions finished before other actions in the past. The verb phrase used in the past perfect tense is underlined in the following sentence. The check had cleared the bank before I canceled the payment. The verb phrase in the sentence had cleared. Future perfect tenses expresses actions that can be completed before other future actions. The verb phrase used in the future perfect tense is underlined in the following sentence. The polls will have been closed 2 hours when the results are telecast. The verb phrase in the sentence is will have been closed. That concludes our chapter 5. Now we'll go to our chapter 6. Chapter 6. Subject-verb agreement. Learning objectives. Locate the subjects of verbs despite prepositional phrases, intervening elements, sentence beginning with there and here, and inverted sentence structure. Make verbs agree with the subjects joined by and, with company and organization names, and with titles. Make verbs agree with subjects joined by or nor. Select the correct verbs to agree with indefinite pronouns and collective nouns. Make verbs agree with the number and a number. Quantities and measures, fractions, portions, and percentages, and who and that clauses. Achieve subject verb agreement with phrases and clauses as subjects and with subject complements. Locating subjects and making them agree with verbs. Prepositional phrases. Intervening elements, sentences beginning with there and here. Inverted sentence order. Subjects joined by and. Company and organization names and titles. Prepositional phrases consist of preposition followed by an object of a preposition. When locating subjects, ignore prepositional phrases. Subjects of verbs are never found in prepositional phrases. Some of the most common prepositions are of, to, in, from, for, with, at, and by. Less easily recognized are prepositions except, but, like, and between. Examples of prepositional phrases. In the following sentences, the subjects have been set in boldface. The prepositional phrases have been italicized and the verbs have been underlined. Each of the candidates is qualified for the position. The subject in the sentence is each. The prepositional phrase is of candidates. The verb is. The online version of the magazine's college rankings is available at the website. The subject of the sentence is version. The prepositional phrase is of the magazine's college rankings. The verb is. All employees but Zachary are certified to perform CPR. The subject of the sentence is employees. The prepositional phrase is but Zachary, and the verb is are. Examples of intervening elements. Groups of words introduced by expressions do not contain sentence subjects. Examples along with, as well as, in addition to, such as, including. In the following sentence, the subject is underlined, intervening elements are italicized, and the helping verb is set in boldface. Her favorite basketball star, as well as other local sports figures, is scheduled to attend the fundraiser. The subject in the sentence is star. The intervening elements are as well as other local sports figures. The helping verb is. In sentences beginning with there or here, look for the true subject after the verb. In the following sentence, the verb is underlined and the true subject is italicized. There are two basic models to choose from. The verb in the sentence is are. The true subject is models. Be especially careful when using contractions. Incorrect. Here's the items you ordered. Correct. Here are the items you ordered. Inverted sentence order. Look for the subject after the verb is inverted, sentences, and in questions. In the following sentence, the verb is underlined and plural subjects are italicized. Highly valued by employers are enthusiasm and professionalism. The verb in the sentence is are. The plural subjects are enthusiasm and professionalism. Subjects joined by and. Compound subjects are joined by and require a plural verb. The subjects in the following sentence are underlined. Google and Facebook are investing heavily in artificial intelligence. The subjects in the sentence are Google and Facebook. What are the subjects of the following sentences? Our office consists of our sales manager, our interviewing applicants. Writing consciously and proofreading carefully are important. In these two cases, subjects join by and are singular and thus take singular verbs. When the words are preceded by each and every, when the words represent a single person or thing. However, when each or every precedes, subjects join by and the subject is always singular. Examples. Each expense, claim, and purchase requires manager's signature. In this sentence, each expense denotes a subject, singular subject, and hence warrants the use of the singular verb requires. Macaroni and cheese is her daughter's favorite meal. In this sentence, macaroni and cheese represents a single dish and hence warrants the use of the singular verb is. Company and organizational names. Although they appear plural, company organizational names, including names of sports teams and musical groups, are singular and require singular verbs. In the following sentence, the name of the company is underlined and singular verbs are italicized. Electronic Arts is known for video games such as The Sims, Madden, NFL, and Star Wars Battlefront. The name of the company in the sentence is Electronic Cars. The singular subject is. Titles. Titles of the publication or artistic works are singular and require singular verbs. In the following sentences, the title of the artistic work is underlined and singular verb is italicized. New Rules is Dua Lipa's first #1 hit in UK. The name of the artistic work is New Rules. The singular verb is. Special rules for subject-verb agreement. Subjects joined by or nor. Indefinite pronouns as subjects, collective nouns as subjects. When two or more subjects are joined by or nor, the verb should agree with the closer subject, the one following or nor. In the following sentences, the subjects closest to the verbs are underlined and the verbs are italicized. Neither the team members nor the team leader knows the due date for the project. The subject closest to the verb is team leader. The verb is knows. Neither the team leader nor the team members know the due date for the project. The subject closest to the verb is team members and the verb is know. Indefinite pronouns as subjects. Some indefinite pronouns are always singular and some are always plural. And some may be singular or plural depending upon the words to which they refer. Always singular. Anyone, anybody, anything, each, either, every, everyone, everybody, everything, neither, nobody, nothing, someone, somebody, and something. Always plural, both, few, many, and several. Singular or plural, all, more, most, some, any, and none. Examples of indefinite pronouns. When a singular indefinite pronoun is a subject of a sentence, it requires a singular verb. In the following sentence, the singular indefinite pronoun is underlined and the singular word is italicized. Either of the two candidates is acceptable. The singular indefinite pronoun is either. The singular verb is. When a plural indefinite pronoun is the subject of a sentence, it requires a plural verb. In the following sentence, the singular indefinite pronoun is underlined and the singular verb is italicized. Both of the proposals are promising. The singular indefinite pronoun is both and the singular verb is are. Some indefinite pronouns can be singular or plural. If the noun is plural, use a plural verb. In the following sentences, then indefinite pronouns are underlined and the verbs are italicized. None of the report is understandable. The singular indefinite noun pronoun is none. The singular verb is. Most of the applicants are college graduates. The singular indefinite pronoun is most and the plural verb is are. Collective nouns as subjects. Collective nouns such as faculty, committee, or council may be singular or plural depending on how they are used in a sentence. When a collective noun operates as a single unit, its verb should be singular. When the elements of a collective noun operate separately, the verb is plural. In the following sentences, collective nouns are underlined and the verbs are italicized. The team is united in its approval of the strict locker room policy. The collective noun in the sentence is team. The singular verb is. The city council were sharply divided over whether to install smart parking meters. The collective noun in the sentence is city council and the plural verb is were. Additional rules for subject-verb agreement. The distinction between the number and a number. Quantities and measures. Fractions, portions, and percentages. The who and the that clauses. The phrases and the clauses of subjects and the subject complements. The distinctions between a number and a number. When a word number is the subject of a sentence, its article becomes significant. The is specific and therefore implies singularity. A is general and therefore implies plurality. Example, the number of times we receive positive online review is encouraging. The phrase the number denotes singularity and hence warrants the use of singular verb is. A number of stocks are traded daily. The phrase a number denotes plurality and hence warrants the use of a singular verb are. Fractions, portions, and percentages may be singular or plural depending on the nouns to which they refer. In the following sentences, the fractions are underlined, the prepositional phrases are italicized, and the singular or plural verbs are set in boldface. Only 1/4 of the apartment complex was damaged by the fire. The fraction of the sentence is 1/4. The prepositional phrase is of the apartment complex. The singular verb was. 3/4 of the voters approved the new tax reform bill. The fraction of the sentence is 3/4. The prepositional phrase of voters, and the singular verb is approve. Who and that clauses. Verbs in the who and the that clauses must agree in a number and a person with the nouns where they refer. Also called relative pronoun clauses. In the who and the that clauses introduced by one of, the verb is usually plural because it refers to a plural noun. In the following sentence, the plural noun is underlined and the plural verb is set in boldface. To Kill a Mockingbird is one of those books that have an influence on the readers of all ages. The plural noun in this book is books, and the plural verb here is have. Who and that clauses. In the who and the that clauses introduced by the only one of, the verb in singular. In the following sentence, the singular verb is underlined. Amanda is one of those employees who is willing to travel internationally. The singular verb in the sentence is. Phrases and clauses of subjects. Use a singular verb when the subject of a sentence is a phrase or clause. In the following sentences, the phrases are underlined and the singular verbs are italicized. Learning about different cultures is fascinating. The underlined phrase in the sentence is learning about different cultures. The singular verb is. That verb must be agree with the subjects is accepted. The underlined phrase in the sentence is that verbs must agree with subjects, and the singular verb is. Subject complement. Although the complement may differ from the subject in the number, the linking verb will always agree with the subject. Awkward. The reason for his bankruptcy was poor management and better decision making. Better. The reason of his bankruptcy was poor management and decision making. That concludes today. Our chapter 5 and 6 is done. See you in class.